Hello, everybody. My name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today, we'll be doing a sequel to the last video that I did, and that is Mike Stone claps back at Russell Moore, calling him a coward. That's basically the big headline and takeaway from this statement that Mike Stone released in response to Russell Moore's letter that was leaked to the Religion News Service, with a pagan outlet. So, with that said, just to do a quick recap in case you did not watch the last video, this will be a sequel to that, and unfortunately, I don't think the sequel is more exciting than the original, but it is worth reporting on. It is a shorter story, that's for sure. And basically, just to recap the events from the letter, Russell Moore wrote a very self-indulgent letter just complimenting himself, patting himself on the back for doing such a great job on the issue of sex abuse in the church, and then called his enemies basically child molesters and white supremacists. And then, you see a lot of, self-congratulation and very mangina language from Russell Moore. He's talking about how he's screaming, how he's crying, and how he felt psychologically tortured. It's just, the guy is a walking mangina. So, Mike Stone claps back at Russell Moore because Mike Stone is basically implicated because, as I said last time multiple times, Russell Moore does not name names. And he is very capable of naming names. But he did not name names in that letter. So, the implication was that, Mike Stone was one of the people that was going after Russell Moore. And Paige Patterson was the one who said that black girl. If you watch the last video, you know what I'm talking about. And like I said in the last video, if indeed that was Paige Patterson, he was right to question that hiring decision of Russell Moore, because she was not someone that was qualified to be working in a Southern Baptist entity, because she is on board with the critical race theory. So obviously, that hiring should have been questioned. So moving on to Mike Stone's statement. So first paragraph, Russell Moore's backdoor press release June 2nd, 2021 was filled with mischaracterizations of who Southern Baptists are. The release of this letter is clearly an attempt to influence the upcoming presidential election in the SBC. I think Southern Baptists can see this letter for exactly what it is. So basically, he's talking about how it's the metaphorical October surprise for Southern Baptists. And, I kind of said the same thing, I believe, in the video that I did. And unfortunately, the internet's not very convinced of Mike Stone's words, but I don't think, again, Christians don't read Religion News Service. So if this was an attempt to be an October surprise, they did a bad job at it, but their mentality is all wrong, so of course they're going to do a bad job at it. Their mentality is to go to the mainstream media, to go to the pagan news sources, to convince actual Christians, and that doesn't work with us. We're not stupid. The accusation that a special 2020 ERLC task force was unilateral action on my part is blatantly and provably false. This attack is a deflection from the fact that Russell's leadership of the ERLC has been an ongoing source of division and distraction for Southern Baptists. Again, that's all true. If you've been following the whole Russell Moore debacle for the last 10 years, which I have not been because, I'm only 25, so you shouldn't expect me to. His sharp accusations against the SBC and its leadership were supposedly made in private correspondence in February of 2020. Here's the big line right here. It seems odd that the author of The Courage to Stand would sit silently on such troubling accusations for 16 months and longer. Boom. He just called him a coward. The rest of the statement is basically a campaign speech, and I'm not really interested in reading that. If you're a Southern Baptist, you would probably be interested, maybe. Probably not. So again, Mike Stone. I think the problem with Mike Stone in this story is that, it shows that he has gone toe to toe with Russell Moore and has not really come out victorious. And I think that's the biggest concern with Russell Moore or with Mike Stone. Uh, so as far as his ability to change the SBC, to reform the SBC back to actual Baptist doctrine, with uh, with the fact that Russell Moore and Kevin Ezell have completely run the denomination into the ground over the last 10 years. For the most part, over the last 10 years is when a lot of the decline happened. So, how is he going to deal with that? I called this the Baptist Biumvirate because those are the two most powerful people and they share power, Kevin Ezell and Al Mohler. That's the Baptist Biumvirate. How is he going to change that? If he's elected president, both those people are still in their post, and he's not going to actually change that. I don't have faith that Mike Stone will really change that because, again, this guy's been in the institution for a while. Now, I think what would be good to happen is that if he wins and he pisses off all the right people, I'm all for pissing off God's enemies. Why do you think I voted for Trump? But at the same time, I don't see this story as a win for Mike Stone. It's good to be an enemy of Russell Moore, but at the same time, this does not show that he has a historic track record of beating people like Russell Moore. So that's kind of my take on this. So yes, Russell Moore is a coward for not naming names, but Mike Stone, he was part of this investigation and didn't do a good job with it. Let's be honest about that. He's taken on Russell Moore in the past and hasn't drawn any real blood. The discernment bloggers drew more blood than Mike Stone did. So this story's not a win for Mike Stone. It's not. Do I still think his chances of winning are great? Of course, because Christians don't read the religion news service. So, with that said, that's kind of my analysis on this. Comment below what you think about what I think. And, my name's Ray. This is the Evangelical Dark Web. If you like this kind of content, do also subscribe at evangelicaldarkweb.org. Linked in the description below. So, have a blessed day, and I will catch you on the next one.